And let's just wrap it up now with just like our thoughts on Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. But yeah, I think like he's likable, especially in this one. I think he especially that kind of everyman kind of quality to him, where he's like, "Hey, you're my eyes and ears. Hey, buddy, don't worry. Thanks for helping out, Spider-Man, but it's all right. I got you. Go help your mom. I can figure this out." And it's like, oh, that's great. Like that's if they actually like explored that more and had more scenes like that, we would have had another great Spider-Man in our hands, another great live action Spider-Man. But instead, we have a great actor, a fantastic actor playing just a really muddled character because of the way these movies are. But I love Andrew Garfield, and I hope he, if he's in No Way Home, if he's somehow in that movie, then I hope he's great in it, and I hope they really highlight the strengths that he brought to the character of Peter Parker in hopefully a better movie. Andrew Garfield, decent portrayal, but the potential is always there, and it was just never met, and that's why it's so disappointing. Even he thinks it's so disappointing that the way they did the movies, the way that it was just kind of taken away from him. So I hope if he's in No Way Home, that's kind of really satisfying, and it's like, oh, like he finally got to do what he wanted to do. So I hope that happens.
I also think that it'd be interesting if they went back and did an Amazing Spider-Man 3 set like years later, obviously, and dealing with that. Because I think Patrick mentioned this in the last episode, where it was like, oh, it would have been interesting if Andrew Garfield played a more seasoned Spider-Man.
Right.
Because he looks like a more seasoned Spider-Man, but he's playing young, you know what I mean? So it would be interesting if they went back. But yeah, I think Andrew Garfield he's a good Spider-Man. I like him a lot. He's not Tobey Maguire, but in better movies, he probably could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was just a victim of bad circumstance, because you have to follow Tobey Maguire, who did such a good job. And then with everything like Sony just tanking because they don't know how to handle the Spider-Man franchise and stuff like that, I think he did a very good job. I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 had the one of, if not the best, Spider-Man performances. Not Peter Parker, because again, like Nick said, he's too cool. He's too laid back and chill in this particular franchise to be like a good Peter Parker.
And wishy-washy. And
wishy-washy. Yeah, of course. But when he's Spider-Man, he's in the costume, he's interacting with villains, the police, that kid, anybody. I think if it's not better than Tom Holland's Spider-Man performance in Homecoming, then this is the best Spider-Man on live action Spider-Man specifically performance. I think Andrew Garfield does a great job. I think they wrote Spider-Man really, really well, and Andrew nailed it. It just sucks that everything else that went into that movie, they just try to do too much in such a limited amount of time, and he just fell victim to that. And that's not his fault, because he did do a really, really good job.
Mm-hmm.
And how Hunter said earlier, when Gwen bites it and he takes his mask off, he's still Spider-Man, but he's still Peter. And in that moment, he does a really good job playing both of those characters. It's Spider-Man's fault, and Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So in that moment, you see both of those characters bare their souls and be like, I did this. You know what I mean? I'm responsible for this. I mourn this loss. This is what happened. I think Andrew deserves more credit.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Perfectly said, Mouktar.